it's Neil Waters here from the Thylacine Awareness Group.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Excellent. Hey, before we go any further, is it okay if I record this for our YouTube? Or I can just keep a copy for myself. I don't have to release it if you don't want to. I just keep a copy of all these conversations so I don't lose the information.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, copy it, but you can put it on YouTube, but don't use my name.
All right, no worries. We'll just go from here, and I can call you anyone if you like. Who've you always wanted to be?
Just don't call me bitch.
Just don't call you late for dinner. That's what Mum would say. So, you had a sighting when you were a younger lass, a few years ago.
Oh yeah. It was in my mind's eye. It's still really clear today as what it was then. Because I've never seen anything like it. That's like I said in that text. I was on horseback.
Yep.
And it was interesting because when I thought about it later, thylacines are, were named as sheep killers and all of that. But this one was running through the sheep and they were parting for him, and they were a bit skittish, but they didn't freak out and run away. So that was interesting, and he was on a mission. He was out of there. So whatever all that adds up to, I don't know, but it was very clear. And then my friend's parents knew about them, or him, or I guess there's got to be a few if there's one.
That's the general idea.
Yeah.
So what? Let's go back to the beginning. What year was it?
55 years ago.
55 years, so 1967.
Yeah, about then.
And you were how old?
I would have been 15.
And you're on horseback?
Yeah.
And what?
And the paddock was clear.
Yeah, you said it had already been cropped or something.
Well, there was sheep on it. There's no bush on that paddock. It was running towards the beachfront scrub, so it was a very clear sighting, really clear.
And what distance were you from it, you reckon?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. A good eyesight in those days, and it was clear enough for me to know it wasn't the dog.
Yeah.
So I couldn't answer that with any clarity.
Okay, fair enough. And time of day?
Would have been mid-morning.
Okay, so like 10:30, something like that?
Yeah, after the cows were finished. And
do you remember the time of year?
No.
Okay. But you had good clarity. It wasn't a rainy day or overcast or anything like that?
It was a clear day. It was a good day. Good day to go riding because it was down, southern Victoria, so, weather's pretty shitty down there. So
yeah, and it's coastal heath.
I remember it being a good clear day.
Okay. So you were riding along and come upon this thing. What exactly happened?
Oh, it was running at a distance going the same direction I was, and what caught my eye was the sheep movement. And it wasn't bothering the sheep, it was running through them. It was on a mission to get to the bush. And so it was running in the direction I was riding.
Okay.
So I kept it in view.
And were you just cantering along? What sort of stride were you in on the horse?
Fast trot at the time because I didn't want it to get right out of sight, but I didn't want to chase it either.
Yeah, okay. And how long do you reckon you saw it for?
Oh, a good probably 3 minutes or...
Wow, that long?
3 to 5 minutes, yeah.
So it was a long sighting, and it was just going in the same direction as you, and it was not stopping?
No, and the way he was loping, so yeah, it'd be approximately 3 minutes. I'm trying to get that right after 50 years, but
sure.
54 years.
But
it was good, clear, long sighting. I was mesmerised.
Yeah.
And the horse was watching too. The horse was pricking its ears up and watching it as well.
Yep, so
And
the
that
horse was
a
switched on.
horse.
When you say it was loping along, describe that to me a bit more if you can.
I don't know, how else do you describe a lope?
Well, was it peculiar? Did it run like any other animal that you're familiar with, for example?
No, that's the other thing that caught my attention, because it was loping. Dogs don't really lope the way it did.
Yep.
It had a lot of power in its front legs, and it was low in the back legs, but it wasn't something that was crippled or anything like that. It was still strong and moving strong.
Yep.
Yeah, and its tail was straight out behind it.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a country girl. A lope's a lope.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's a very common description that people use.
Okay.
One of the key things with just about every single sighting I get is the witnesses always describe the gait and the locomotion as being peculiar.
Yeah.
Not normal.
Yeah. That's what drew my attention all the more, was the way it moved. And being a girl off a farm and always had dogs, and I knew how dogs moved. I mustered cattle and...
You'd seen plenty of foxes in your day?
Oh, plenty of foxes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to, in the day when Wilson's Promontory had cattle on the prom, I used to muster down there. So I knew dogs really well at 15.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I worked with dogs. I knew foxes. I knew what it was about, but I didn't know what this was.
Okay.
I never heard of a thylacine that I could remember, Never thought of it.
And so did you make inquiry with your girlfriend's parents then, did you?
Well, I didn't make inquiry. I told them what I saw because it had fascinated me, and interested me. And that's when they said, yes, they're about here, and told me not to tell anyone, and which I readily agreed with.
Sure.
And never did until 55 years later, till now.
Wow.
I didn't want people disturbing them.
Sure.
The same as what they did. And later that day when we used to go scrub bashing a lot, and we're going through the scrub and the horse started playing up. And my friend said, well, they can smell them, horses can smell them.
Yeah.
And that they do play up when they're about, and the horses weren't playing up. They didn't like it at all.
Okay.
We couldn't see it then, but the horses could smell whatever it was.
Now, when you saw it, and you didn't know exactly what animal it was at the time, yeah?
No.
Okay.
I had no idea. I was told later that's what it
would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Can you recall the colour of it by chance?
Yeah, I've got all these years later, I've got a really clear picture. It was like a dark dun colour.
Okay.
With the stripes.
With the stripes. It had the stripes. You saw them.
Yep.
Excellent. Have you, so did you live in that area at the time, or you were out just horse riding, visiting sort of thing?
No, I lived in that area. I lived at Yanaki.
Okay.
At the time, which is a soldier settlement area.
Okay, yep.
Yep, and I used to ride over to my friends' places and ride all over that area. Rode everywhere.
And did you come across any other unusual things back in the day when you were in that area?
No, not animals. Just that particular sighting.
Okay.
Other things, but not an animal like that.
Did you ever find any headless wallabies or kangaroos back in the day?
I can't remember that. I think when you're going through the bush, there's always...
bits and pieces lying around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something you really took much notice of.
Yeah.
I didn't anyway, It's just part of life.
Yep. And you've just kept this to yourself all these years?
Yeah. Yep.
You're the third person with a historical sighting that's happened like that. I had another lady about 6 years ago who contacted me who'd seen one in 1966 on the Nullarbor. On the Nullarbor, on a station. Yeah, and
That's awesome.
her husband was driving the car and she saw it out the passenger window and she didn't say anything because he would have shot it. And she'd kept it a secret for 50 years and decided to tell me one day, and it was just like, whoa.
Good on her.
Got it off her chest, so that's fantastic.
I know I lived in Tassie for a while as a young adult, and we were forever hearing about the old bushmen and seeing them, and they just didn't tell people where they were.
Yeah.
For their own reasons and whatever, but I lived in Tassie for 12 years and I heard those stories quite a bit.
Yeah, everyone's got them. Everyone's got those stories basically everywhere you go in Tassie, so it's Australia's worst kept secret.
Yeah, but sometimes I wonder, with all the logging that's going on down there and all these ute far out cams, why aren't we getting more clear sightings of them?
I think they're incredibly smart. They're a lot smarter than what the bushies gave them credit for, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, what's always fascinated me was this one, it wasn't chasing the sheep or anything like that. Sheep parted for it and were a bit skittish, but they didn't go freak out and go running everywhere.
It sounds as though it was more interested in getting away from you than attacking the sheep.
I don't even know. That's quite possible. It was quite possible it was on a mission to get to the bush and get out of sight.
And you saw it until it did?
Yeah.
Excellent. Wow, that's fantastic.
It is, isn't it?
Do you still live in that area or are you further inland now?
No, I'm a fit girl now. I've travelled everywhere.
Okay.
Been lots of places now, so... But that's the only... Tassie, and there's only places that I felt sure that they were about.
Sure. They're all like, we get dozens of sightings from South Australia almost every year.
Wow.
And Victoria, Gippsland right across the board in Victoria, really. And same with New South Wales and Queensland. They're seen in many different regions, and WA as well. But, ask a scientist and they'll say they've been extinct on the mainland for 4,000 years, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous because there's 3 times as many sightings on the mainland than in Tasmania.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's they must have an incredible sense of smell, because the only thing I can think of with them not being caught on dash cam is that they can smell that there's been a human around.
Yeah, I've got about 80 trail cameras out in the bush at any given time, and I've gotten a few photos, but none of them are 100% absolutely you can't argue with. So they seem to always get photographed from behind, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think their sense of smell, if they're... I'm open on the subject. If they're still out there, it's their sense of smell that
keeps them safe. Yeah.
Been a human,
Absolutely. Yeah, most people seem to stumble upon them rather than, it's by chance that people see them, really.
Yeah.
It's just that timing thing more than anything, so.
I know that I was intrigued enough for that picture, that whole few minutes, to stay in my mind all these years and still as clear as the day.
That's fantastic. Well, that's a really good detailed description, really. I mean, you've seen it for 3 to 5 minutes on horseback, so you're elevated looking down over it sort of thing anyway, really, aren't you? You're getting a better view.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It was really, really clear. Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind as I grew older what I saw, and talking to my friends' parents, they knew they were about.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for your information. I will put it away in the sightings maps that I've got. I'll release this in the next, few days or a week or so, but I'll make sure that your name's not mentioned. And you haven't mentioned the exact spot either, so that's fine.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that, yeah, because you get these cowboys that
look,
you want to go and shoot them.
There's always that element, but I think the vast majority of people are fascinated with them enough to respect them, really. I really do. And the animals, if you're a hunter and you wanted to get one of these things, you would need a pack of dogs and you would really need to be on the go for weeks on end to be able to track one down. They're that good.
I would imagine.
All the ones that were caught in Tasmania were caught in snares and pitfall traps. Hardly any of them were hunted down and shot.
Were they caught in pitfall traps, were they?
Yeah, they used to make big steel pitfall traps in the bush. They'd find a run where they were running on, and then they'd build a fence along that run, and then they'd steer the fence into a trap. And the thylacines would run with their nose to the ground and hit the fence and just keep running in a straight line to stop hitting the fence and go straight in the trap. So because of that, the bushies used to think that they were stupid, but they're not that stupid. They're very smart.
Yeah.
That's the only system that ever really managed to catch them. And, they banned trapping and snaring back in the 1980s. So it's...
we were a pretty cruel mob in those days.
Oh, we still do some pretty stupid things as a race, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we're trying to make a difference, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
No worries.
What do you think about the scientists saying that they can make a clone with the DNA? Do you think that's...
Nah, it's rubbish. It's not even cloning. It's building something using individual genes. It's not cloning at all. They're full of shit. So...
You don't think they'll ever be able to do it?
No, I think it's about the technology more than what they reckon they're going to make. It's about developing their technology. That's what it's all about. The government knows these things aren't extinct. The government knows. They're full of crap. I wouldn't believe a thing they say. Let's look at their track record on everything else,
Yeah, I think the media has a lot to blowing things out of proportion too.
Yeah, and they've always got an agenda. They've always got an agenda with me when I talk to them.
Yeah.
Especially the ABC. They're shocking. They're the worst.
A lot of people don't like the ABC. Country people don't like the ABC anymore.
No, they don't, for good reason too.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
It is, mate. I'll let you go.
All right, no worries. Thanks very much for your time and information.
You're welcome.
All the
Bye.
best. Cheers.